How to create a central intake referral. First, we want to search for the client by doing a financial assistance search. We put the first name, the last name, the social, and the date of birth, and click financial assistance search. It shows the client has not sought services or been provided services by any organization. So then we search to see if we have access to this client's information so that we can clone. We see that there are no matches found. So we go to Home to put the person through our central intake program to create the referral. So I go to Census, Intake Admission. I choose my program, and today I'm going to use a training central intake program. I'll put Conan O'Brien in the search field, and I'll put his social in and click Continue. I'll create new application, and I'm going to edit the fields here that I have not entered data for. So the data quality, gender, the date of birth, you can put all 6 digits without slashes or dashes. I can put approximate if it's the approximate birth date or full, ethnicity, race. Alright, the screening date is the day that you do the referral. So the day that you have contact with the client, the first initial contact. You put your name as the screener. The forms received date is not a required field, but you can go back in and put when the forms were received. The status date can change over time. The first initial date will be the same as the screening date, but over time, once the intake status changes, you can change the status date. I'm going to choose Accepted Admission because I want to do the VI SPDAT once I complete this referral. Here you have eligibilities. You can select any that apply to the client. You also have interviewers and the duration that you meet with the client. The referral disposition tracking note allows you to put your interaction with the client. You also have the ability anytime you update this form to have a new note added to the referral. I'm going to go ahead and create this referral by clicking the Create Referral at the bottom of the page. Now that I've created my referral, I'm going to update the referral source. By doing this, I have two options. I have self and agency. I'm going to choose agency, and I'm going to choose an agency here. I can also use the search. And I'm going to choose a fake agency and click Continue. After I've created the referral, to get to the VI SPDAT, I have to process the admission. I can also update the application evaluation that I just created, but I want to go ahead and do the VI SPDAT, so I click Process Admission, and there's several other questions that I will have to answer. So I'm going to put the admission date. Now I'm just accepting them into my central intake program. This does not mean that I am giving them assistance. I want to be able to get to the assessment tool. So I'm going to put the type of residence that they stayed at the night before. You have homeless situations, institutional situations, and transitional and permanent. The length of stay in the previous place, approximate date homelessness started, number of times the client has been on the streets, in emergency shelter, or safe haven in the past 3 years, including today, the total number of months homeless on the streets, in emergency shelter, or safe haven in the past 3 years. The income is not required. Special needs questions are not required, but I'm going to go ahead and put them in because if I do accept them, I have to answer these questions. If I say yes, I have 3 follow-up questions that I have to answer. So I'm going to say yes. Documentation, no. Services, no. Substance abuse, I'm going to say no. Disabling condition, veteran status, and then the county of last permanent address. The services sought here, I'm going to say they're looking for financial assistance and mental health care. And I click Update at the bottom. The consent form has 3 options. The first one is I agree to share all of my information with the other partnering agencies. The second is I agree to share with the exception of. And then the third is I do not agree to share any of my information, and it gives the date at the bottom. So I'm going to say I agree and update. Now I'm going to put my household start date as the admission date and click continue. And I'm not going to add any household members at this time. So to get to the VI SPDAT, I go back to Home, Census, Intake Admission. I choose my Central Intake program. I search for Conan O'Brien. Click continue. I see his name here and I click it. And I scroll down, and now that I've processed the admission, I see this line here, this blue line. It says Form/Assessments. I click it, and I see forms here. You should see the VI SPDAT, and then the VI SPDAT family as well. It is not here in this training program at this time. So I scroll to each section, and I click Update. So here I can put the client has consented to participate. The client is not 60 years or older. I'll put the location. And then I click Save. Once I have finished one section, I will go to the next section and click Update. And then I will answer these questions and click Save. So once I do that with each section, I will get a score at the very bottom, and that will be my VI SPDAT score.